Good morning, and welcome to the Lone Star Weekly Business Hour. Your host, Rick Schissler, is a Silver Fox advisor who personally has over 40 years of experience as a serial entrepreneur. So sit back, pull out your pad and pencil, and get ready to take notes as we join Rick Schissler in his Lone Star Weekly Business Hour.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this edition of the Weekly Business Hour. I'm Rick Schissler, Silver Fox Advisor, and your host for the show. And again, welcome and happy holidays. We're at that time of the year where everyone's focused on the holidays, and I hope you and your business are as well. Got a great show for you today. It will be live for the year, so I hope that you're listening live, and if not, on the podcast. But we'll have a couple great repeats the following 2 weeks to make up through the end of the year. And first this morning, I want to talk about the thought for the day, which will be entitled, believe it or not, Happy Holidays. Then we'll check in with Dick on the business here at Lone Star Community Radio. And then we'll get to our very special guest today, Denton Florian with Inspire Film Festival, and Joe McDermott, owner of the Lone Star Military Maintenance. And in the second half of today's show, we'll talk about the Silver Fox Tip of the Week. So I hope you'll stay with us through the show. But remember, in case you have to leave us, all our shows are recorded and are available to you for up to 2 years on our podcast. And you can access those by going to www.irlonestar.com, click on the Weekly Business page, or you can go to our Facebook page, The Weekly Business Hour. Thought for the week, happy holidays. Well, that's not a tricky one today. It's really, to me, important. And I was reading something about the holidays and the impact on people. In fact, many people have given us thoughts and ideas about the holidays, and one that caught my attention, Winston Churchill once said, Christmas is a season not only of rejoicing, but of reflection. And I think that's an important part of not only the Christmas or the holiday season, but of this time of year to reflect. And we've touched on that a little bit with our business planning ideas. But what does it mean to you? I mean, happy holidays. Does it words on a greeting card? A song by Irving Berlin, sung originally by Bing Crosby. Most of us know that. Or a greeting used with others in a setting, social settings, or we see people on the street during the Christmas season. Well, to me, it means more than just the holidays. It means what Winston Churchill said, reflect. And that means reflection not only on the special season, I believe, but it reflect on your business. I think it's a great time because most of us this time of year, once we get through the hustle and bustle, if we're a seasonal business and we are really busy this time of year, we'll have time to sit back for a few days and reflect on life, and our business. And I encourage you to spend a little time reflecting on your business. Look at the progress of your business during the year. Think about it. Look for the positives. Look at the things you accomplished. You may even get some ideas of how you can tweak your business model to make you more successful in the coming year in 2017. A time to reflect, a time to look back, and a time to look forward. New directions and opportunities for all of us during this happy holiday period. The Weekly Business Hour is where Montgomery County and businesses throughout the world come to talk about the latest in business news, ideas to improve your business, and to hear from some of our local business leaders on how they have found success right here in Montgomery County. And remember, if you have a question or a comment, or you want a question about your own business, feel free to email me during the show or after the show. And my email address, Rick, R-I-C-K, at irlonestar.com. Be happy to answer any question related to business. Well, Dick, what's going on with the business here at Lone Star?
Well, Rick, we're currently installing and finalizing all of our updates to Lone Star Community Radio, and hopefully this week you'll be able to watch Lone Star Community Radio on YouTube, and hopefully a live feed, and then soon to be on Channel 12 on Suddenlink with the Conroe Peg channel. So we're going to try to wrap all of that up this week, and we encourage everyone to come by and check out the studio with the new updates coming up next year.
Well, what you're really doing is you're telling us as the host of these shows we need to clean up our act because we're going to be on video. So we got to look good as well as sound good. So I think that's wonderful. Well, now we come to the time of the show that I always tell people that I enjoy the most, and that's talking with our guests, with the people who come and give some of their time to talk to us here on the Weekly Business Hour. And our first Special guest today is Denton Florian. Denton, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me. Great to be here.
Well, we're going to talk about the Inspire Film Festival, which is a new event here in Montgomery County. But to kind of introduce yourself to the public and the folks who are listening, give us a little bit of your background.
Well, I was the executive producer of the documentary film Sam Houston that got a lot of attention. It was really fun to do. It was a great educational project and just really a great creative project. I mean, it brought together several of my personal passions, the creative side, the artistic side of which is filmmaking. And then I've always been a lover of history, particularly early American history. And as a native Texan, the story obviously was just of great interest and fascinating. And Sam's one of these guys you just can't get to the bottom of. You know, he's peeling back an onion. You just can't get to the bottom of Sam Houston. So chasing him around was pretty fun. It was a great educational project. So that got me into all this business of film. And Sam is done. It's out there. It's available. And, you know, we want to expand what we've done with Sam into other things now.
Well, let me ask you, is that just a hobby, a passion of yours, or is that what you do for a living, work in the film area?
I've been working for the Sam Houston Project for a while. I'm doing some work for Spirit of Texas Bank now also, but I've been pretty tied up with Sam for a number of years.
Well, you're tied up and you're still trying to figure him out.
That's exactly right. I think it's going to be that way for a while now.
Well, I agree with you. As a lover of Texas history and someone who's been reading it since he was 4 or 5 years old, Sam Houston is a great figure to study. There's no doubt about it.
Chasing him around was tough to do. You know, Sam was all over the place. He was well-traveled, and he lived a very long life, especially for that day and time. So, you know, he was important to the United States, not just Texas. And so his scope is much broader than we typically give him credit for.
Well, I think that's exciting. That's a wonderful film that you put together as well. Well, let me ask you, the film festival, that's a big business.
Right.
It is a nonprofit, right?
Yep.
But it is a business, so you have to, I mean, why did you get involved with it?
Well, you know, I got to give the credit to Jane Menarvik, who's our executive producer. She's really the one that made this happen. Several of us have had the idea kind of simultaneously, a bunch of us, and it was a great time to you know, bring us all together, but Jane's really the one who was able to make it happen. And so you know, we need a film festival like this. There's so much junk in the world, and there's lots of film festivals out there. There's horror film festivals, there's probably Western film festivals, and all of their different kinds of film festivals. But there's never been one that I've looked up, that I've found, that focused on inspiring stories. So we thought, wow, how great would it be to have a film festival that focused on beautiful images and really inspiring stories about people from all over the world who have overcome adversity or who have done some great thing. And, you know, sometimes you see a movie and you walk out of a theater and you just feel pumped and energized. And you go, wow, that was great. And we need a whole lot more of that. You know, we're hit with so much junk. Constantly, you know, I mean, turn on the news and give me a break. And it seems like our entertainment in our world is dominated by that kind of thing. And we said, you know, we want to do something different. There's so many great stories out there. We ought to highlight them. So that's what we're going to do.
So your core message is really inspiration, positive stories.
Yes, absolutely. Yep.
Well, I agree with you. I think there is a lot of, and I like your word junk. That's a very polite way of saying as others would, but I agree. So you at Jane, with Jane's leadership, you guys went about putting a team of people together. Tell us about putting a team together. I mean, you've got to, just like a business, you've got to put a team that can put the ball in the end zone, so to speak. How did you all go about putting a team together?
Well, we kind of identified each other early on. You know, the creative community is, you kind of, like any other community, you bump into each other and you talk and you hear what's on the other person's mind and what everybody's interested in and what they're doing. So that part of it happened kind of by accident, you know, but we all have a passion for film and we all have a passion for creativity and these great stories. So I would say that we initially identified each other and ran into each other that way. But, you know, putting a team together, you've got to have people that have different talents, that have different abilities. You know, if I were going to put a business together, I wouldn't hire people that were just like me. I would hire people that had, other talents that I don't have, so that you have a strong team. And I think we have that. We have the people that aren't on our team directly. We want to interact with people. We hire people that have the skills that you don't have or that we don't have. So, there's people that are just bent on making this happen, first of all, and then we're seeking to partner with other people who have the talents that we need to acquire.
Well, it's interesting. When I looked at your website, kind of looked down, they have a place where you can see the team, and looking at the backgrounds, fantastic backgrounds, at least from what I can tell in the film area and education and whatnot. And again, I've never put a film festival together, but I know what it is to put a good team together. Right. It looks like you've got some varied backgrounds and great education experience.
Oh, these are fun people to talk to, and the people on this team are inspiring. It's just fun to be around them. It's fun to talk to them. They've done some amazing things with their lives, and they have inspired other people. So we want to spread that around.
I think that's, again, not only a great message, as we touched on earlier, but to put that kind of team together to produce something like this. Okay, now you've got a team. What was the next step?
I guess defining what you want to do. Say, have a goal. This is what we're after. This is what we're trying to achieve. And then you kind of work backwards from there, and you say, okay, well, when do we want to have it? So we set a date. We're going to have the film festival from February 23rd to 26th in 2017 here in the Woodlands. And so if you kind of reverse engineer that, then that implies a calendar, or that helps you create a calendar of benchmarks that you have to hit to make this happen.
Let me ask you this. Do you have, or is your team, your group, and do you have any kind of particular goal as far as attendance, or I don't know how you would set goals, particularly in a film festival?
Well, we decided that we want to screen about 20 films. We want to show them over the course of the festival. We want to have panel discussions, live performances, social events, those types of activities that would be attractive to people to come to a festival. If you just go to a movie, we've all been to movies, and some of them you come out and you're inspired by the movie, but it really ends there. You maybe go to a coffee shop or something with somebody and get some dessert and coffee or something. But we wanted to have activities that you could meet the filmmakers, the people who made this film, or some of the characters that were in the film, or maybe there's a way to respond. You come out of a film and you go, gee whiz, I'd really like to be able to donate to this or that cause. And so, maybe there's a response mechanism for this or that film, a way that you could be more involved with their cause or what they're doing, or,
it's oftentimes we just talk about it because we don't have any direction. I'm talking about if I see a film and I'm inspired, there's no connection. Like you say, you're trying to bring some connection after the film for those who want to connect.
Absolutely, yeah. To increase the network and to plug people in. A lot of people want to be involved in great causes. Most of us do. And so we want to be a catalyst for making that happen, because, when you're inspired, you want action to be associated with that. Good news is kind of contagious, isn't it? That's almost the definition of inspiration. It makes you want to go do something. You're motivated to contribute in other ways. So that's what we want for this film festival.
It sounds like a really great goal to have and again, the name implies it, inspire people. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take our first break of the day. I hope you'll stay with us, and we're going to come back and talk with Denton more about the Inspire Film Festival. Learn a little bit more how maybe you can be inspired by the festival. So please stay with us, and we'll be right back.
Doing business since 1985, Assistance League of Montgomery County is a nonprofit, all-volunteer organization where all proceeds stay in Montgomery County. Through our Operation School Bell program, we have provided new clothes to over 50,000 students in our county. Visit our thrift shop at 126 North San Jacinto Street in downtown Conroe, or call us at 936-760-1151. Don't forget to like us on Facebook.
Have you set a goal to get a new job or get promoted? Have you ever been frustrated with resumes or job interviews? If you want to ace a job search and make more money, or just love what you do for a living, tune into Your Career with Todd Bermont, Fridays at 2 o'clock. Each week, noted author and creator of the Careers College, Todd Bermont shares tips, news, interviews, and secrets you can use to further your career. Tune in Fridays at 2 o'clock p.m. on Conroe's FM 104.5, 106.1, and IRLoneStar.com.
You're going to need me.
You're going to need us.
All of us.
You're going to need our help with your water, your air, your food.
You're going to need our determination, our compassion.
You're going to need the next generation of leaders to face the challenges the future will bring.
And we promise we'll be there when you need us.
Today, 4-H is growing the next generation of leaders.
This is Rick Schissler, your Silver Fox advisor and host of the Weekly Business Hour. And if you're just joining us, we've been visiting with Denton Florian in regards to the Inspire Film Festival that's coming up and talking about the business of how you put a festival together. And I want you to pay particular attention to some of the things that we've talked about, because putting a film festival together, it has a business side. It is a nonprofit in this case set up, but it has a business side. Let me ask you, Denton, we were talking in the last hour about the nature or your goals and what this festival, and of course the name implies, inspire people. What makes your festival different besides the name?
Well, what we're going to do, what we're focusing on. There's not another film festival that we've been able to identify whose purpose is to showcase beautiful, inspirational films. As an artist, I think it's important that they be beautiful. They be beautifully shot. There's the whole technical side of cinematography, which is really heart surgery. That's you can't just, everybody's a photographer these days, but that's the real deal. But we want them to be beautiful because beauty is inspirational. I'm inspired by nature. I'm an outdoors guy. I love to, camp and spend time outdoors and backpack and that kind of thing. And, if you're not inspired by the beauty of creation, then there's something wrong with you. So we want to showcase films that are beautiful, but the message needs to be a positive one. And so many of these films people never see. Either they don't have the budget to reach a wide audience, or for whatever reason, people don't get to see these. You see the films that are, it's how much gasoline can we touch off and how much special effects can we do. We get that all day long. This is very different, and we think that there's a hunger for it, an audience for it. We think people will love it.
Well, I would think, and again, as I said earlier, I'm not been involved with film festivals, but based on the sort of the turmoil our country has been on, the world's in, I think you're going to find a lot of folks looking for a positive, uplifting message. And to have a full 2 days, 20-some films you mentioned, a great opportunity for people to become involved and take a look at these films, particularly in the local area. Yep. Let me ask you, this is your first year. We talked about the metrics of what your team that you're involved in is looking for. Can you kind of give us a sense of what a successful film festival would look like? What does it take to be successful in this business?
Well, the success will be determined, I guess, by the audience. The people that come out, if they like it, if they're inspired by it, if we were able to get a good collection of films and pull it off. The mechanics of it, the logistics, I think is one thing. But the ultimate test is we want people to walk out and go, wow, this was so cool. This was so great. I'm glad I went. And where can I go to see more? Or how can I get more involved? And I can't wait for next year. So, that's the kind of thing that we're after. And, when it's done, we'll, on the mechanics, the business side of it, we'll step back and evaluate it. We'll go, what can we do better? How do we take it to the next level? What should we have done what did we miss? You answer all those kinds of questions and write them down and go forward that way. It just needs to be an honest evaluation of it.
Well, let me ask you, one of the things I noticed with some of the folks that are involved on the team is they've been associated or affiliated with the Telluride Festival, which has been out there for some time, because I've seen it published in business publications and other places. What are you hoping they bring to the table? I mean, they have lots of experience based on what I read, several of them do. with that festival? Is that important to bring somebody in, or at least one person
absolutely.
that has that experience?
Absolutely. You got to tap into that knowledge base of people that if you've never done this before and you decide this is something you're going to do, you don't know what you don't know. So you need to talk to people who can raise issues that you haven't even thought about or otherwise wouldn't think about. So, they know the lay of the land. They've done it before. They know what you have to do. They know the tasks. They'll make you think about things that you had missed. And so they're just a good check on what we're doing to make sure we don't miss anything.
Well, I think obviously when you start a business, any kind of business, that experience factor is so important. And in this case, you brought people in to connect because you don't have any experience, say, for yourself. And I don't part of the leadership team what the experience is. But like I said, when I looked through their resumes or biographies, I saw lots of experience there.
Yeah, and you come up with your plan, you come up with all of your ideas and everything, you write it down, and then you give it to somebody like that, and you pass it around the room, and you say, okay, tear this up. What have we missed? What have we not thought of? What's a better idea? Take this idea and grow it. Yeah, this is a great idea, but boy, it would be fantastic if we did X. Well, what is X? And what does it cost to do X? And sometimes those things are easy. The little things the big things don't necessarily have to be expensive or anything. The big things often are the little things. It's those nice touches, the nice polish to put on it. But, we just think that the whole idea is one that there's a hunger for because we were all hungry for it, and I think the public will respond.
Yeah, I have no doubt they will. Let's kind of walk through the festival. I mean, if people want to understand what's going on. You've already mentioned the dates. February, what was that?
The 23rd through the 26th. The
26th. Okay. Right. And just kind of walk us through, where's it taking place and how can we get involved or so on and so
it's
forth.
Taking place in the Woodlands, about 30 miles north of Houston. And the Woodlands is a great place. It's a great community. It is a beautiful community. We have the population base for the volunteer support. We have a lot of people that we can pull from for volunteers to help us make this happen. It's the demographics are right. The town has the infrastructure that you need to have something like this to be successful. We have the venues. We've also, it's close to an airport. I don't think the development of the Woodlands itself could have been successful without Houston's Intercontinental Airport. The proximity of the airport is important for a number of reasons, but it's important for us too. It's easy to get in and out of Houston and easy to get in and out of the festival. So the Cynthia Woods Mitchell Pavilion is one of the best outdoor amphitheaters in the country. I think it was even declared to be so recently, that this is a great venue, and people from Houston are used to coming up here for concerts and things. So, but we have other theaters and we have other places that we can showcase these films in the Woodlands. So it's the right place for it, we think.
You mentioned that, and that's what's kind of interesting to me, obviously, and you said it very well. Cynthia Woods Pavilion is a great center for these kinds of activities. You have other venues. Now, where are they? Are they within walking distance, close by?
At Market Street, there's, Cinemark. Market Street is where there's theater there that we want to showcase some things at. There's a beautiful facility at Woodlands United Methodist Church now that lends itself in their harvest worship space. It's very comfortable seating, and it's just almost an ideal place to show a film or show a collection of films. So we're going to be utilizing that space over there.
I think if someone has not been to a film festival, and I include myself, as far as a formal film festival, the idea that you walk around or you commute at different venues, different times, different films, you have to be in a position to select. How do you all go about selecting the films that you would include in this project?
Well, some of the obvious first answer to that is just, is this the kind of film we like? Is this inspirational or not? And that's a subjective thing, I suppose. The rest of it is, is this film available? So we have to communicate with the filmmakers and see if it's available or not. Can we get it? How much is it going to cost to get it? And all those kinds of things. So it's, a lot of it's subjective, but depends on them too, if they want to participate in this. We think it's a unique opportunity to literally be on the ground floor of the very first, inaugural event of our festival because we want this to go long term, and we think it will.
Let me ask you this. One of the things is you mentioned, you touched on volunteers. Now, there's a number of ways that I could take from the website. I could sponsor, volunteer. If people want to do these things, what's the best place for them to find out the information?
I would go to our website, inspirefilmfest.com, and key off of that. We will be needing some volunteers to do some various things, but the short answer to that question, I would guess, would be to go to our website.
I got to ask you this question. It may seem a little facetious. Who's in charge of the weather that weekend?
Jane Manarvik is in charge of the weather. Aren't you, Jane? Right. Yeah. Yes, Jane is.
Well, February is kind of an iffy month sometimes. So I just wonder because you've got a beautiful location. I mean, I've seen that, been through there a number of times in the places you're holding films, and it'd be a shame if people could move around easily, walk those venues. Great opportunity.
It is. And, there are ways for businesses to get involved, too. We're looking for offering local and regional businesses and organizations a way to sponsor us. We have sponsorship levels from $1,000 to $40,000. And so there's something, other ways, too, for all budgets and philanthropic tastes. We think that with our special events and our the sponsoring of the special events, some of the symposiums maybe, or the filmmaker meet and greets, it's not just the film, but the events surrounding the film that are available for sponsorship and available for volunteer opportunities. So, a lot of this depends on money. I mean, like anything, it takes money to make this stuff happen. So we would welcome a business's participation, or if somebody is doing some tax planning for the end of this year and they need a charitable contribution, we'd be happy to talk to them about that.
You bring up a good point. There's a lot of ways for people to participate, and that's one of the things I encourage on this show, businesses to be involved in their community, and this sounds like a great opportunity for businesses to be involved on a sponsorship level or volunteering people, getting there. A lot of times businesses will promote to their team in their business to get involved and share this event, so to speak, within the company and go out and do it as a team, as a volunteer effort. As you come down, you've got 2 months left. Mm-hmm. How are we doing? Are we on schedule, or are we hurrying up? Holidays are a difficult time to make things happen.
It's a flurry. That's right. We're in hurry-up offense mode. We're in a good position, good place. There's a lot to do, though, and so we're going to be busy for a couple of months. Looking forward to it.
That last push. And plus, people need to understand, and this is important, you have a new business, and a lot of the listeners to this show are people in business, and some of them are new businesses. And so some of those challenges you don't foresee, and they just hit you, and you got to be resilient and come back at them. Denton, I deeply appreciate you bringing this topic to us today and talking about a film festival, in particular the Inspire Film Festival. Once again, if people are interested in finding out more, to be involved, to sponsor, what's the best way for them to do it?
inspirefilmfest.com.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that brings us to the bottom of the hour, and I appreciate you taking time, and I hope you will stay with us. We have John McDermott will join us after our commercial break and talk to us about veterans and how we can help them. So please stay with us. We'll be right back with you.
Doing business since 1985, Assistance League of Montgomery County is a nonprofit, all-volunteer organization where all proceeds stay in Montgomery County. Through our Operation School Bell program, we have provided new clothes to over 50,000 students in our county. Visit our thrift shop at 126 North San Jacinto Street in downtown Conroe, or call us at 936-760-1151. Don't forget to like us on Facebook.
Hi, it's me, Cece Holmes. I'd like to take this time to invite you to spend your Sunday evenings with me, and of course Sunday Evening Jazz, where you will hear the best in smooth jazz, traditional jazz, and indeed so much more. That's Sunday Evening Jazz every Sunday from 5 until 7 p.m. right here on Lone Star Radio, Conroe's 104.5 and 106.1 FM.
Want to check out the fastest growing sport in the world? It's right here in Conroe, Texas, and it's roller derby. Conroe Roller Derby is a non-profit recreational league of women and men who want you to come and check out the fast-paced, hard-hitting game of roller derby. The Conroe Cutthroats practice at Rainbow Roller Rink on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Sundays. You can find our game schedule and more information on our website, www.conroerollerderby.com.
Have a legal question? Are you a resident of Montgomery County? Call 281-645-6344 to talk to a volunteer attorney from the Woodlands Bar Association. We answer the phones on the first Monday of every month at 281-645-6344 from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. to provide general legal information and information about legal resources to Montgomery County residents.
You're listening to the Weekly Business Hour, and this is Rick Schissler, your Silver Fox advisor and host of today's show. I want to remind you that if you've not been able to listen to the entire show, remember, all our shows are retained and available to you on podcast. Go to the website, irlonestar.com, or check us out on Facebook at the Weekly Business Hour. Well, now it's time to introduce our next guest, John McDermott, Lone Star Veteran Maintenance. Did I get that right, John?
Lone Star Military Maintenance.
I left that military word out. Tell us what you do and what your company's all about.
So Lone Star Military Maintenance, Rick, is a branch of the U.S. military maintenance movement throughout the United States to employ veterans of the military branches, underemployed veterans, and their family members to help socioeconomically stabilize veteran families.
So you've actually started a business, and again, a for-profit business to help veterans.
Actually, Rick, there's 60 branches throughout the United States. This is a nationwide movement and company that was founded out in San Diego by Mark and Tori Baird. Mm-hmm. A young Marine approached them, knocked on their door, was looking for work to get his electricity turned back on. So they began to speak to him and realized how many post-9/11 veterans were either unemployed or underemployed.
And so they actually started a for-profit business so they could employ them.
Correct. They started U.S. Military Maintenance, which is a nonprofit that helps veterans helps veterans start their own businesses, and also those businesses hire veterans throughout the United States.
You know, that sounds like a wonderful effort to use a for-profit business to engage and employ, in this case, veterans.
It truly is, and it's a ministry as well as a for-profit, because we devote a portion of our gross profits back to the nonprofits so they can help train and start other business owners in areas that show high veteran unemployment numbers.
You know, that's really interesting, and I hope the listeners pick up on that, the fact that you've got a for-profit business. You got 60 of these businesses throughout the country, not you personally, but the folks have taken it on themselves with the idea that this is going to be a for-profit. I'm going to make a profit, like most for-profit businesses. You hope to make a profit, right? And yet the real center, and correct me if I'm wrong, the real core is to help veterans connect and be employed.
Certainly, and stabilize the families with particularly the post-9/11 veterans, the ages 25 to 50. They completely stopped their lives after 9/11 and, went to serve the country overseas, most of them 4, 6, 10, 12 years. And now they're back in the country. They're a little behind on education. They've lost contact with family members. They've lost those business ties they've had, ties with high school friends. They don't have networks. So it's very difficult for them to get back into the public sector.
Let me ask you this, and I've heard that general message time and again, particularly in times of war, like we've been at war with Iraq and Afghanistan, and then I go back to the Vietnam War when I came of age, and it seems to be a reoccurring problem, what you're talking about, that the vets come back and they're just disconnected, so to speak. Can the military do more, or do they do anything to prepare these people who have been in for 2, 4, 6 or more years to go back into, as you call it, the public, get back in the public scene, be part of the nation on a different role?
Well, sadly, Rick, they do something, but a little is not enough. You have approximately 30 to 60 days to out-process yourself and your family from the military when there's a drawdown, such as we've seen in the last few years. you don't have a lot of time to get all your belongings packed and choose a hometown you want to go back to. There are some programs in the military that help with transition. Unfortunately, what I'm seeing and what many of the organizations are seeing is that it just really doesn't cover all the bases that the veterans need to reacclimate and sit in an interview with a interview panel or have those soft skills. So what we do is we want to offer them immediate employment in something that they absolutely know that's a non-licensed skill, and that's cleaning, janitorial service, building maintenance. All veterans are drilled and trained from day one all the way to the last day that you're in service on how to clean and maintain equipment and keep things what we call white glove inspection ready.
You know, that's interesting. So what I hear you saying, and again, correct me if I'm wrong, is this is, if nothing else, is a stepping stone to a career for these folks, gives them a place to start.
It certainly is, and they use the nonprofit portion of Hire Patriots and Patriotic Hearts to pick up those soft skills, get that training, help them. We help them with their resumes. We help them if they want to be independent business owners themselves to navigate all of the paperwork and the legalities. We help them with their GI Bill and their veterans benefits as well.
Now, you've just transitioned us, and I want to make sure folks. I mean, this really sounds like a government project. I mean, you're moving people through a lot of steps here. You've got a nonprofit then, or two nonprofits that are directly connected with your business.
Certainly, and they're called Hire Patriots and Patriotic Hearts.
Now, what's your involvement personally or your business with those groups?
Well, again, we give a portion, every branch of U.S. military maintenance. For example, mine is Lone Star Military Maintenance in Denver, Colorado. It's Mile High Military Maintenance. We give a 5% back of our gross, and that supports the two nonprofits to get the veterans and their family members. This is open to the entire family into these training programs, reacclimation programs, getting them networked, getting them plugged in, getting a good resume built, getting those mock interview skills done. If they're having family issues, we can get them counseling and help the whole family instead of just a portion of the family.
You know, it's interesting, John, about what you're doing, and I looked a bit in your background or the business's background and had somewhat of an understanding. But what I'm seeing is, you know, one of the things I talk about, and we talked about it with our last guest, Denton Florian, is that community involvement and the importance for a business, a for-profit business, to seek opportunities, as well as the business owner, the employees, to be personally involved. But you've got a business, to me, that's just right in the middle of community involvement. I mean, you're involved every day you're open for business.
Every day, 365, 24/7. And we've done a lot of reaching out to local business owners and in what we call our target market, which is the commercial buildings, you know, small business owners or commercial building managers or property managers. Real estate's what they do, they call the make ready, where you're flipping a house and for the next buyer. And sadly, Rick, we're not getting a lot of pull in on those jobs. We've had some jobs, but we're not able to reach the public in the fashion where the name is a name brand or a brand name that they can look at, know, trust, and understand. And that's why we're reaching out through this show as well, to let people know we're here. Veterans are the hardest working people you'll ever run across. And our message is if you're using a service currently and you want to see what a difference we can make at the same cost or below, give Lone Star Military Maintenance a call. Give us the opportunity to come in and speak to you. Let's put some vets to work.
Well, and what's interesting to me, you're not just saying let's put some vets to work, but you're offering quality in the service, in this case, maintenance, building maintenance, property maintenance. So, I mean, this is a 1-2 punch for people when they engage your firm, high-quality work, and then at the same time, they're assisting veterans by engaging your business, I assume on a competitive basis, to actually perform the work.
Oh, absolutely. And our goal is to pay a very nice living wage to the veterans and their family members. We're not a for-profit driven business. So, you know, in the world of wages, Rick, that when you're paying a wage to somebody, they're doing a much more quality job. And that's instilled and built into veterans. Show up on time, be there, do the best you can, day in, day out. And that's our advantage in the market. We want to build a good cross span of customers and make a little bit of profit off of each job. but in the same time, we're supporting the number of veterans. Our corporate goal is to employ 500 veterans by the end of 2017.
Now, where are you on reaching that goal?
Well, right now, we're really off on that. We started in August of 2016.
Now, this is your particular business?
My particular branch. Across the country, we're employing over 6,000 veterans. My particular branch right now has started off very slow. According to the number of outreaches and cold calls and everything you do in business to try and to get that competitive edge just kind of hasn't been working. So right now, we're sporadically employing 20 veterans.
Well, let me ask you this. You mentioned you've done a number of cold calls, outreach. How do you market a service like this, a building maintenance business?
Well, we market it inside of what we call a Veterans Assistance to Work program. We straightforward tell them there is a for-profit and a nonprofit side. The nonprofit is supporting the veterans' families and their needs, while the for-profit side is paying them the living wage. And we talk about our services, what they're currently seeing. And every customer that we've approached and every customer that we've done business for has raved about what we've done. We're coming in at the market price 20%, sometimes 25% below what current customers are paying, and they get that much higher level of clean, polish, and white glove ready.
Well, it sounds like a no-brainer. What's slowing people down in grabbing a hold of your service, do you think?
Well, unemployment rates have skyrocketed in Houston, particularly with veterans. Just to give you a little bit of demographic background, the veteran unemployment rate in Montgomery and Harris County is 18.5%. That's 4 times the state average. We think mostly that's, and some of the research that we've done through the TVC and through the Bureau of Labor Statistics and the Census Bureau, has shown that a lot of that has to do with the oil and gas downturn. There's a lot of businesses out there that cut back on those, what they call non-essential services, when they're starting to not turn that profit margin they were before. But we're coming back out of that. And the key to that is there are businesses out there that are using these services. We're asking for the opportunity to get in the door, talk with you, see what you're doing, see what kind of service you're getting, and show you what we can do.
So you're willing to be competitive, so to speak?
Oh, absolutely.
You know, John, this is really an interesting model. I've never come across the model like this. I would sense that people would get or jump on the opportunity to support you if, in fact, you're competitive and you're doing great work. It's again, I hate to be repetitive, but it's kind of a no-brainer. Well, where do you go from here? What's 2017 look like?
Well, 2017 is looking bright. There's no place to go but up, and so we're looking forward to a good year coming up. We want to find those patrons, those patriotic business owners. We're the most patriotic state in the most patriotic counties in your nation, and we want to touch base and get a hold of those patriotic business owners that are willing to support this program.
Well, John, I deeply appreciate you taking your time to come in today and connect with me, and hopefully down the road we can possibly have you back next year and see how you're doing. If people want to get in touch with you and have questions or want to talk to you about doing business with you, what's the best way for them to do that?
Well, they could email me, Rick, at lonestar@usmilitarymaintenance.com, or they can call direct to me, 713-775-2444. I am never too busy to speak to someone.
Give us that phone number one more time.
713-775-2444.
John McDermott, I appreciate you taking the time again to be with us. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take our final break for the day, and I hope you will stay with us because in our final segment, I'm going to offer you the Silver Fox tip of the week. Is your company a disruptor or are you being disrupted? Please stay with us, and we'll be right back with you.
The Texas A&M AgriLife Extension Service has been dedicated to educating Texans for over a century. In 1915, the Extension Program was established under the federal Smith-Lever Act to deliver university knowledge and agricultural research findings directly to the people. Ever since, AgriLife Extension programs have addressed the emerging issues of the day, serving diverse populations across the state. Texans turn to Extension for solutions in horticulture, agriculture, 4-H and youth, and family and consumer sciences. Extension agents respond not only with answers, but also with resources and services that result in significant returns on investment to boost the economy. Join us Fridays at 1 o'clock for the AgriLife Extension Hour.
If you are looking to start a career, you can start your professional life in the U.S. Army. I am Staff Sergeant Stephen Jackson. My fellow soldiers and I can talk with you about learning high-tech skills in electronics and computers as a soldier. Interested in the medical field? The Army has skilled medical and dental jobs that set you up for future success. Come visit us at 2109 West Davis Street, directly behind the Whataburger on Highway 105. Or give us a call at 936-756-7002.
At Jazzy Junk, volunteers reclaim, restore, and recycle. Jazzy Junk is a non-profit resale storefront where you will discover wonderful, unique finds at very affordable prices on furniture, antiques, books, art, home decor, and more. When you shop Jazzy Junk, you support New Danville, a community for adults with developmental disabilities. We receive new donations daily, so plan a visit to Jazzy Junk today to find that perfect item or gift. Our motto is here today, gone today. So remember to hurry in and shop often for the best selection. Jazzy Junk is located in the outlets at Conroe on League Line Road and I-45 North. Call 936-441-4500 or visit our website, jazzyjunk.org. That's Junque for more information and store hours.
This is Rick Schissler, your Silver Fox advisor and host of the Weekly Business Hour. Appreciate you joining us this week as we go into our final segment of the show today, where I'll deliver my Silver Fox advisor tip of the week. Is your company a disruptor, or are you being disrupted? Probably add a subtitle to that, are you in danger of being disrupted? Last week I sent out a blog that kind of gave you a little bit of insight to this topic, and hopefully some of you saw that. If you didn't, I'm going to kind of go through that briefly to kind of set the stage to talk about disruption. By disruption, I mean a change or innovation that changes how your products or services are used, delivered, or perceived in the market. Disruption is all about change. Who could have seen the changes coming down the road when we hear about things such as the cell phone? I mean, think back when the first cell phone came along and the disruption that it has caused, where the number of landlines being used in our country continues to go down at a very rapid pace. Or Facebook advertising. I mean, we got Facebook, and all of a sudden, they're one of the biggest sources for advertising in the entire media world, not just in this country, but around the world. Or most recently, the driverless car. Think about the impact that if that idea of a driverless car has come to fruition, the impact on the taxi service or even an Uber service, perhaps. I mean, it's amazing. On the automobile manufacturing, these are true disruptions and have disrupted a number of businesses and routines and processes that were in place at the time they came on the market and began to disrupt their way to having a tremendous impact ultimately on the industries and businesses that were related to that market. Where does your company stand on innovation or disruption? And I guess the key to me is in this subject, and it's something I think every business, regardless of size, needs to pay some attention to. You need to kind of keep yourself awake. It's kind of goes back to that well-used expression, working in your business versus working on it. And when you're working on it, you become aware of things like disruption, changes in products or use of products and services or delivery of products or service, and most importantly, how your product or service, your company, is perceived in the marketplace. You know, I read a short article recently by John Janisch, who's an author, speaker, and the founder of Duct Tape Marketing. In his article entitled Disrupt or Be Disrupted, he discussed how markets are changing, what a business needs to do to be competitive. To me, personally, I think 95+% of the markets that people are in, that businesses serve, are in some stage or some form of disruption is going on. So it impacts ultimately all of us. So what we have to do to stay competitive, to me, is very, very important, because you're being disrupted, chances are, right now, and you need to know it, and you need to know what you need to do to address it, so it doesn't become a fire drill for you or an actual business on fire that the fire department just can't help you put it out. Janice pointed out that innovation is perhaps the most significant threat and greatest opportunity facing most small businesses today. I totally agree with that as well. I think you've got to turn that around. And yes, disruption is a threat, but it also could be a great opportunity for your business to move ahead of your competitions if you seize on the disruption and you innovate to meet it head on, to cut through it and move your business ahead of your competitors. And that's what I encourage each and every one of you to do. It's very important that you realize first that it's happening. That's the key, to start realizing, to discover what kind of disruption is going on right now in your business. What is a threat to your business? I mean, the fact that the internet has changed so many businesses. And if you're in a retail business, what's the impact been? I know way too many small businesses that the internet has impacted through retail sales online that just sort of sit there and kind of see where it's going. And year in and year out, they kind of float along. And basically what I hear is their sales are flat, or they're going in the wrong direction, yet they're not doing anything. They don't know what to do. So it's very important that you look for opportunities to be part of the innovation market as it is out there. Look at some of the things that are coming. Is name your industry, name a job or a task vital to your industry, and I guarantee you there are companies working, again, right now, and I can't overemphasize this, making that job or task irrelevant. Many businesses are seriously in trouble, and it's only a matter of time. First, to solve this issue is to admit that it is in existence and determine where, and it may be multiple places that it threatens your business. You need to look for innovation. You know, what's going on in the marketplace? I mean, the market in general, our economy in this country is changing. How is that impacting your business? Ask that question. Secondly, what can you find out there that shows a trend of change? Maybe some folks in larger players in a similar industry or in your industry are already making the change, because the big businesses should know before the small businesses, but that's not always the case. But look at what the big players are doing. Look how they're changing their business model. I mean, for an example, how we pay for services is changing rapidly. I mean, we've even gotten to the point with money never exchanges hands, but we use Bitcoin. How's that impacting your business? Not only today, but down the road, a year, 2, 3, 5 years down the road. It's amazing. And you can travel around the world today and not even use cash at all. So it's already eaten away at cash. We're using credit cards, debit cards, Bitcoin. So the need for cash has been going down for years. How can your business meet this expectation? Everything we do, every business, every product, every service needs to be smart and convenient. In other words, the delivery of your services or the product that you provide need to appear, the perspective, as we talked about earlier, they need to be convenient. So it's important you do that. Make sure you're convenient and make sure your product is smart. Help people understand what it does. There are other things that are impacting our market, and you need to be aware of them. But the key I wanted to deliver today is you need to innovate. And it doesn't need to be an overnight thing. It doesn't need to be an urgent fire drill unless you're already so far behind the curve. But innovation needs to be part of your business plan, regardless of business or industry, each and every year. So get out there and innovate. I appreciate you joining us today. Again, as I mentioned, this is our last year for the show. But please put on your calendar next Monday at 11 o'clock when we'll replay our interview with Brian Bondi, president of the Lake Conroe Chamber of Commerce. Great show, and I hope you'll enjoy it if you've not heard it before. Remember, you too can sponsor the Weekly Business Hour by contacting me here, Rick at irlonestar.com. Ladies and gentlemen, I wish you a happy holidays, and I hope that you will stay engaged this week and keep your focus on what counts in your business. Thank you.
Thanks for checking out this production on Lone Star Community Radio, Montgomery County's radio station. For more information on this show and other shows on Lone Star, Check us out online at irlonestar.com. If you're interested in sponsoring a program on Lone Star Community Radio and reaching the local audience of Montgomery County on FM, internet, and TV media, please call 936-647-5747 or contact us online at irlonestar.com. This recording is a Lone Star Community Radio production, produced by the show host and Dick Schissler of Lone Star Community Radio. Interested in volunteering as a music DJ or starting your own talk show? Contact Dick Schissler at dick@irlonestar.com or by phone at 936-647-5747.